products and services since 1977.
There are things that we experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in a corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your evidence, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every week we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, or just the unusual. My name is Greg Bakken, and thank you very much for joining me today. You know, Adam, I actually climbed a mountain today.
You climbed a mountain?
I did. It's Mount AM 950 parking lot where you need to have, I don't know what you need to get up, because it's not four-wheel drive even, but it's a nice little icy endeavor.
Well, Kevin the Sherpa was supposed to meet all of our guests out there, but he's actually out looking for the Yeti, which is kind of what you're going to be talking about today.
Well, maybe
right?
maybe we can get some clarity from our guest today about that, because it certainly has been quite the sideway journey, if you will, going up and then kind of going back down the entrance to the parking lot. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, so we are going to see if maybe our guest can help us today. Robert Robinson is a fantastic Bigfoot researcher and author. He has written 2 successful books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, Adventure Outside the Box. He goes out to look for these elusive creatures in such places as the dense woods and swamps of Florida. And his work in this field is always a joy to read and also listen about, which we're going to do today. Robert is an authority in all things cryptids, and he's also a UFO and paranormal guy too. Robert, welcome to Ghostbox Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh, goodness, my pleasure. And everyone, I'd like to invite you all to listen, all you to join our conversation. I invite you to listen too. To do so, call in to get any sort of question answered from Robert. And I would love it if some of you have seen something that you're not quite sure what it is. Talk to Robert. Maybe he has an idea of what you've been seeing or whatnot. Call us at 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205, or email us a comment. Email address for the station is comment@am950radio.com. But we're live on AM 950 Radio, but also streaming video on the following Facebook pages. You can watch us on AM 950, Things Network, MN Ghostbox, Free Spirited Network, RU Media, Skeleton Key Network, and Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. So please go there, support those pages, but also leave your question on those pages. We're going to be monitoring all of that. So if you have a question, we'll take a look and we'll bring that in and we'll ask Robert. So please do so. You know, so Robert, I kind of virtually saw you when we did the Ghost Stories and Beyond, that live virtual thing, and that was back in November. You know, at this time of year, what is like the calendar like for you doing research, or you going out looking for creatures? And I think I've asked you this before also, but is it fair to call this like a Bigfoot hunt when you go looking for them, or are you just doing it research? I'm just curious what you call that.
I just call it, well, I guess we all call it a Bigfoot hunt.
Sure.
Or skunk ape hunt, or, whatever scripture we're looking for. Of course, the goal is not to, of course, shoot this animal or anything. It's just to, observe it and, get evidence that it's out there. Or get evidence, that it's been in the area, like tracks or, what they call wood structures.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
So you're down in Florida, so the weather is pretty nice all year round. So there isn't a time that you really stop or anything, right?
Well, when it gets really hot out, because the mosquitoes here get really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have been out in the summer, but we usually limit ourselves to early morning hunts. We'll get up real like 4 o'clock in the morning, get out to our area. And once the sun comes up, we go ahead and, pack it in or come to our area that we're set up our base camp. But like right now, this is our prime area. I mean, prime time of the year. It's cooled off a little bit, and the mosquitoes aren't that bad. The only problem is that it's hunting season. So, we have to contend with the hunters out there. We have to make sure that we're, wearing orange when we go out there.
Oh, sure.
And, and to be honest with you, when I come to an area where I see a lot of hunters, I don't even go there because, I mean, with all the human activity, you're not going to see anything.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, these animals, pretty much veer away from any kind of human contact if they can help it.
Well, and yeah, because they're very smart. So the other side of the year, then when you said when you don't go out when it's really hot or anything, just like how, say, for example, like bears will hibernate in the winter or anything, because like these creatures have so much hair, whatever. Do they do anything in the summer that kind of keeps them out of the way, especially like during the day? And I know that they're elusive all the time, but I guess what I'm getting at is a way to kind of keep them self-cooled. Has there been any sort of like research into that at all?
Well, I'm going to go off how gorillas do that, because gorillas, of course, they have hair all over their body. They kind of keep themselves in the shaded part of the, here in Florida, it's called the hammocks. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a big shaded area, and the temperatures are usually, 10, 20 degrees cooler in that area. So, in fact, that's usually where you see a lot of activity here in Florida during the hotter part of the year. When they are seen, is they're back in the swamps, as you will, the hammocks. That's what it is. It's pretty much the swampy area. And of course, Native Americans, the Seminoles, have told me that these animals are, aren't above just laying down in the water to cool themselves off in the swampy area,
because they're doing whatever they need to be able to cool off, right? I mean, I've been in Florida in the summer. I haven't lived out there like you have, but I mean, it's a lot, isn't it? It's unbearable. It can be.
It can be, especially during the hotter parts, because I mean, the temperature can get up here pretty high,
Right.
and it's kind of hard to actually get, because you got to be concerned with yourself getting dehydrated out there, not to take, venture too far where when you run out of water. But I always take the liberty of bringing items with me where I can find dirty water and I can clean it if need be.
Sure. Yeah.
But back to what you were saying, yeah, you got to be a little concerned with yourself out there. And of course, we have other animals contend with out there too. We have alligators and stuff. We have panthers. We have wild boar. And we do have bear. In fact, we've had up at the Ocala National Forest, they've actually had quite a bit of bear activity in that area. And bears can bears can be dangerous, just as everybody knows. And and I always take bear mace with me when I go out there.
Right. No, that sounds like a really smart idea. We are talking with Bigfoot researcher, author Robert Robinson. Once again, if you have any questions for him over the course of the show, please put them into the comments of whatever you're watching from, or you can call in at 952-946-6205. We're up here in Minnesota, and so there's a lot of areas up here, boundary waters, everything else. I mean, I'm assuming that you get do you get a lot of people, I guess, asking about sightings that they've seen up in our area at all?
I've had some people, because I stay active on Facebook, and I stay active in all the Facebook or all the Bigfoot research groups around the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And if sometimes they'll post a picture or ask a question. If I think I have an intelligent answer to give them, I'll chime in. And if I see a picture and if I think there's some validity to it, I'll say, hey, you may have something there, or it's hard to say. What you took was awfully far off, and it's hard to really make. Again, I was a retired military policeman, and I always kind of look at it. Go before a court and say, hey, I'm 100% sure what I have is real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I tell people, because we're dealing with mainstream scientists, and you know, they're the big ones to convince, you know, because, you know, I would say 90% of most scientists don't believe it. I mean, I did have one scientist tell me one time we were talking, and when he found out what I go out and research this stuff, he wanted to come talk to me about it. And he made a comment right off the bat. He says, you know, there's nothing in science saying that these animals can't be out there.
Right.
It's just that we don't have anything that we would able to go in and get a grant to go do serious research on them. So, you know, we're always watching you guys doing this stuff, hoping that one day, you know, you'll have something that we can grab onto, you know, because I mean, like, you know, the giant octopus or giant squid, you know, for a long time, it was just a myth, the Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now they're you know, they're actually finding out that these animals are in fact real. And when that happens, that's when scientists does step in and take over.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing that I've always thought was so small-minded about people, to say something, and I really think about not only just the Bigfoot side of it, but also the alien side of it, to say with certainty there is no possible way that such and such could exist. But if that was the case, the story of science is one where we are constantly learning new things. So stuff that we look at and we take for granted now was unheard of 200, 300 years ago, when they were saying that what we take for granted now was impossible. You know, so it's just, I've never understood that way of thinking.
Well, you know, scientists, you know, it's a reputation online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and unfortunately, we do have a lot of people out there today that do hoax.
True.
You know, there's people that are trying to, you know, and I always say, you know, when I was watching, Finding Bigfoot crew came down there, were interviewing people, I could tell there was people that just wanted to be on TV.
Imagine that.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it's sad to say, but out of 10 sightings, usually 2 of them might have some validity to it. It's sad to say that.
Let's do let's do this, Robert. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Winter is here, and there's a good chance your home isn't being heated efficiently. And it's likely because of air sealing and insulation problems. Inadequate attic insulation is the leading contributor to high energy bills, cold rooms, and ice dams. Great news, the energy-efficient pros at Snap Construction can fix it all. Stop the heat from leaking out and save. Call 612-333-SNAP or visit snapconstruction.com for your free infrared energy inspection. Install with Snap Construction and qualify for over $750 in rebates and incentives. State and city programs are now offering 0% financing for qualifying insulation upgrades. So call Snap Construction for your free insulation energy consultation and start saving on your energy bills. Call 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed insulation and exterior contractor in the metro area. Visit snapconstruction.com.
Do you believe in ghosts? Ever wondered if aliens from other planets visit the Earth? Have you ever thought about whether Bigfoot is real? My name is Greg Bakken, and on my new show, Ghostbox Radio, we'll have these conversations about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, or just the unusual, bringing together guests who are experts in these fields. Join me every Sunday at 4 p.m. for Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken on AM 950, even if you're a skeptic.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. For the last 2 years, AM 950 has been so grateful with all the members who've signed up to support the radio station. And as a thank you, we've sent out the AM 950 calendars. Well, for 2023, get ready for even more thank yous. The AM 950 2023 calendar is ready to go, featuring photos I took around Minnesota. Members who sign up with a one-time $50 membership or a recurring monthly membership of $10 will be helping to support the largest progressive radio station in the state. And as a thank you, we'll send you the 2023 calendar. Brand new this year is the AM 950 AM950 National Parks poster. The poster features photos I took of the national parks in various locations in Utah, Arizona, and Colorado this year. If you help support AM950 by becoming a member with a one-time $99.50 donation or a recurring $25 per month donation, AM950 will send the poster and the calendar as a thank you. Help AM950 keep broadcasting the powerhouse progressive lineup you love and help keep Minnesota blue. Go to am950radio.com to sign up as a member, and thank you so much for supporting AM950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
This is Gregory Rich, host of Drink in the Style and owner of Habitation Furnishing and Design. People often ask me, why habitation for my home? Well, I could give you hundreds of reasons. I could talk about the extensive collection of furnishing suppliers or our exceptionally talented design team. I could talk about service, but the truth is, habitation clients come back room after room and home after home, and that speaks volumes. Habitation, put some drama into your interiors.
Are you dreading Monday, hating life, and living for the weekends? It might be time for some life changes. Pamela Topjian is a board-certified hypnotherapist at hypnobreakthrough.com, and she can help. Consultations are always free, and you'll receive a complimentary sample session to try out. Get in touch on hypnobreakthrough.com or send a message on social media, hypnobreakthrough or Pamela Marie Topjian. And please, if you are hearing this on AM 950 radio during Ghostbox Radio, please let her know that you heard about her through us. I'd greatly appreciate it. And welcome back to Ghostbox Radio and AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you for joining us. Our guest today is Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson, who wrote 2 books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, Adventure Outside the Box, that you can find on Amazon.com. And I kind of cut you off a little bit the last segment, Robert, and we were talking a little bit about, one of the things that is, I think, very prevalent in any field, paranormal, cryptozoology, anything else, is the people who just want to get on television or are going to fake stuff to try to get some kind of notoriety. Are you running into that quite a bit with what you're seeing?
I have. I'm not going to say a lot. I hang out with investigators that I hold them to a lot of credibility. They're not, they don't just, how would I say, every time anything comes down or we get a sighting, they automatically, oh yeah, it's real. It's, yeah. We'll go out and investigate it. And, we've, sometimes we find evidence, sometimes we don't. They're very elusive animals. These, Bigfoot type creatures. I haven't really lately, thank goodness, but, I have ran into it. Like I said, when I was helping out when they were doing the Finding Bigfoot, when they were doing the interviews, I was like, oh man, these guys are just trying to get on TV. And it's, I've had some people who approached me, and I believe they saw something they couldn't explain, and it really bothered them.
What is it that would set those people aside from the ones who are hoaxing? What is it? What are some of the things that you would see in the stories that would be like, you know what, I find this credible because of this, this, and this?
The people I believe that saw something, it is a very emotional experience for them. They have seen, and I use it, the boogeyman type thing. We've grown up, so mom and dad told us there's no, boogeyman, there's nothing under the bed, nothing hiding in the closet. And then you're out in the woods and you see this large, hairy creature that, and all of a sudden your mind is just going, holy cow, there really is, monsters out there, so to speak. And I had a gentleman back in 2017, Hunter, sitting in a tree stand. I've told this story many times because this gentleman, I really believe, saw something he couldn't, because it took about 2 weeks. His son actually came and approached me about it. And then he talked his dad into coming to see me. And his son told me that after he saw it, I mean, he went home and when laid in bed, it was just really, it bothered him that, he had seen this thing, and then after he was able, after a couple of weeks to kind of get himself in the right state of mind about it, he came to me. But when he saw it on a tree stand and he called his dad and his son to come back over there, his son said it took him about, they took him a while to get him just to get off the tree stand. you know, because I mean, he was just freaked out over seeing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't out there looking for it. He was out hunting Thanksgiving morning, and it walked out in front of him. And when the thing looked up at him, he realized it was a real creature and not somebody in a suit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he did take a video with his phone, but unfortunately, you know, and he's not looking to go on TV or anything because he said it's not a good video. It was foggy that morning, and you know, I had a flip top phone, one of those old ones, and when I filmed it, the film made it appear further out than it was. And he showed me the film. He gave me a copy of it. I'm allowed to show people, but I can't put it on the internet because, you know. But he took me out there, showed me where he saw it. We actually found some footprints, but unfortunately, it was like 2-3 weeks later, and the rain had came in, and the prints weren't any good anymore. But you could see where something large had come running and ran down this dirt road, which was muddy at the time. And you know, it's funny. He says, you know, I've been out here for 30 years hunting, and I've heard the stories, and I never believed it. And this thing walked right out in front of me, you know. And he was, and the thing too that I always point out to people is that these people that see it, they can tell you everything they did that day to a T, and they never veer off their story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they never say, "Oh, let me think about that." I mean, when I ask a question, I said, "Hey, what time did you get out there?" He said, "Oh, we got out there. We parked the car. You know, I made sure I had enough ammo, and then we agreed what tree stands we were going to go to. Set up there. I got up there, and I was playing a game on my phone, and lo and behold, it walked down. First, I thought it was a hunter, and I was going to yell at the guy, say, "Hey, dude, why are you walking out? You know, you're going to get shot. You know, you're supposed to have orange when you're walking around out here." And you know, he told me everything what he did when he got home. I mean, the detail this guy could tell me. And it happened again later on when I met a couple out by the Crystal River. And the funny story is we had been out there, and we came in that morning, and the manager knew what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my guy I was with was bragging to everybody, "Oh, we're Bigfoot hunters and stuff." And the manager came up and said, "Hey, you may want to talk to that couple sitting over there. I think they saw something." And I look over and I see this middle-aged couple, you know, dressed in camouflage, and the lady is in hysterics, crying, and she's pointing her finger at her, you know, going off on her husband. And I said, "Well, let's go over there and talk to him." And, you know, so I went up, introduced myself, and I said to, you know, "I heard you may have seen a Bigfoot." And she jumped right in her husband saying, I told you I was a Bigfoot. I told you. Why did you bring me out here? I never wanted to come out here. You know, you made me do this. And, you know, found out that it was first time hunting. They went down, and he put her in a tree stand, and he took off and went into another one. She sat up there, fell asleep, woke up when she felt something pulling on the ladder, looked down and saw this large, hairy, man-like creature looking up at her. Wow. And she said that, you know, they don't know how long they looked, and then she started screaming for her husband, and it walked off. And he came back, and she was, you know, he said it took him, you know, he said she wasn't going to come off that tree stand so she knew Bigfoot left the planet. She was like really, really, you know, petrified. And again, same thing. She could tell me everything. I mean, it took a while, of course, because she was hysterical about the whole thing. But she, you know, she said it had a very human face, so that ruled out the bear. I mean, she knew what a bear looked like.
Yep.
And she said it was lean, reddish hair, very muscular. And she said it walked off when she started. It didn't run off. It walked off when she started screaming for her husband. And I don't think they gave us the right directions or right location, because when we went out there, we had to get on a boat to get out there. We didn't find the tree stands. But that whole area has a reputation of having some sightings. So she isn't the only one who's seen it. You know. I'm
just going to say that I think I've come to an idea here from the story that you just told, is that, you know, people think that like a creature like Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti has this sort of like, you know, they have these mystical powers of being able to get in people's minds or have a pulse to keep people away. I think the real power that they have is they're able to know when somebody around them has inferior video recording technology, so that they know that they can come out and start being seen, because they know that you're not going to get a good video of them. That's what I think is going on.
And most people don't expect to see it, and when they do, they're freaking out when they're taking a film.
Oh yeah.
You know, And of course, they're scared to get too close to it because they're scared of things, the animals or, this creature's going to turn around and start running at them, I mean,
Trust me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trust me, Robert. All I was going to say is that, even when I see like my cat in a cute pose, I can't get the camera ready quick enough, right? I mean, it's on my phone. I can't get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. Let's do this. Let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
The new year is here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the year. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, so it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. And don't forget your air ducts to help alleviate allergies and asthma. And it's also important to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home staying cleaner longer. Zero Res is here to protect your biggest investment, your home. Why pay someone to clean your carpet if they are going to leave something behind that makes it dirty again super fast? Zero Res is the longest lasting and best clean. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES, and don't forget to ask for the AM 950 special. This month, book and clean in January only and get 23% off all services for 2023. That's 952-ZERO-RES or ZeroResMinnesota.com. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Connections Radio Show is all about tapping into our hardwired hunger to connect. We examine meaningful connections to ourselves, our community, and the world around us. By opening the door to innovative insights by a wide variety of interesting guests, we'll make the connections to something bigger than ourselves. Join me, Lori Fitz, your host of Connections Radio Show, and together we'll make the connections. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
No matter if you're eating out or cooking something at home, EatLocalMinnesota.com has you covered with a list of locally owned restaurants and food purveyors. Locally owned Vinaigrette has been offering the finest olive oil and vinegar since 2009. Reintroduce yourself to all the many flavors by tasting before you buy. From darker white balsamic to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil from all over the world, there is something for everyone. Vinaigrette, located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis, or at vinaigrettemn.com. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for fun. Enjoy the fantastic food like their pizzas, burgers, and sandwiches, the best bowling in Minnesota, their wildly popular outdoor patio, great drink specials, all the big games on their numerous screens, and it's the perfect place for your next private event, even large gatherings for over 200. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for everyone. Have fun at the Park Tavern, Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
And as you know, Char Savoy and I do a number of events and classes together. You may have heard that we're do a paranormal class together, and the next session starts January 16th. This is a 5-week course that really delves into paranormal investigating from an intuitive, practical, and technical level, looking at it through the eyes of using cool equipment, honing your intuitive skills, and we play lots of evidence we picked up through the years, including we will be playing a video that we did with Robert a while ago talking about cryptoids and Bigfoot and stuff like that. To sign up for classes, go to charvinity.com and go to events and look up Paranormal Dimensions and the Supernatural. That's Paranormal Dimensions and the Supernatural. Classes run every Monday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. starting on January 16th. And you just heard her with a commercial for Metamorphosis Connections. Please go check it out. It's a fantastic resource, and you will find what you're looking for there. That's metamorphosisconnections.com. And please support Shar and support everybody. Just by going there and getting help for yourself, you're supporting a lot of people. So please do that. I am excited to say that I am a guest again at this year's Council Room in Bloomington, Minnesota, January 20th through the 22nd. Council Room is a Doctor Who convention, which is a love of mine, and I will be there to talk about Doctor Who, British television, and the paranormal. Get tickets now, and I know you're going to have a great time. It's such a fun convention, and other stars from the series, such as Sophie Aldred, who plays Ace, is going to be there too. Go to console-room.com. That's console-room.com and get tickets today. Now, if you miss Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken Live, AM 950 replays these episodes Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or you can listen anytime by going to Spotify or iTunes. After listening, please leave a positive review for my show. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, our guest today is Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson, who wrote 2 books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, Adventure Outside the Box, that you can find on Amazon.com. And folks, call in. Let us know if you've seen one of these creatures and where were you that you saw them, or write us, let us know, and we can talk about it. You can call in at area code 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. Or if you have a question, feel free to call in with that as well. Adam, we had talked about something that you were going to mention to Robert, right?
Right. There's the footage from, I think, 4 years ago of the Minnesota Bigfoot taken on Christmas Day. It's in a backyard. I want to say it's near the Duluth area. And you can actually, when you can see this thing walking, it's very far in the back, but it looks like he's got about a 5-foot gait in its walk when it steps. It's nuts. I want to know if there's any validity to that video and if you've seen that, Robert.
I probably have. I can't recall it right off the bat. I've seen so many, but I have seen some video. I think I probably have.
Yeah, the one thing that stood, I would say the one thing that stood out in that video is there's a Jack Russell Terrier that goes shooting off after this creature in the backyard. And then it turns around and starts yipping back while it's running, like it has seen a ghost itself. And this is a little Jack Russell Terrier that goes hauling after it and then just makes a beeline back to the house.
Well, you know, dogs can pick up on aggressiveness, you know. So for this, you know, I've heard many stories where these dogs do go out and then all of a sudden they get a smell of it or get a sense of it. And again, dogs particularly can pick up on an animal that is in the ready to come back at them. So, you know, that doesn't surprise me none that this animal got out there, got a big whiff of it, and maybe got a look at it and say, oh, you know, this is something I've never dealt with before, and turn around and, you know, hog-tailed it back to the house.
It's interesting. You know, and there's, you know, up here, there's a number of things, even, and I'm going to throw out a name of a city, and Robert, I don't expect you to know where this is, but I think people in the Twin Cities area might be surprised at how close some of these sightings can be. Like Adam, I've heard of sightings in Forest Lake, which is just, you know, just outside the Twin Cities area. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a lot, I mean, and especially going up to the Boundary Waters up north. You know, obviously there's a lot of bears up there, but I've heard of sightings up there. Reamer, Minnesota, which is considered by them, I don't know if everyone considers this to be the capital, Bigfoot capital of Minnesota, Reamer, Minnesota. Have you heard of that, Adam?
No, but I've been to Reamer once, and that is very wooded area up there. So I could definitely see that, and it makes me want to go back to Reamer, to be honest with you.
They do a festival every year where I think they might have lost the thread a little bit. Is I went there one year. It's great. It's a great experience. But one of the stores were selling, Robert, they were selling a whoopee cushion with Bigfoot on it, and that's what you could buy, a Bigfoot whoopee cushion. So that's how that is, I guess. I don't know, but Reamer it's hard to get to. It's not easy, but it's beautiful place. It really is nice. And then also, Robert, up here, like talking about cryptids, one of the legends up here is over in Lake Pepe, which is well, I don't call it a sea creature because it's not the sea, but it's Lake Pepin, which is massive, and it does. I don't remember if it connects with the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is right there, but I mean, every year they have a big festival out there as well of those type of creatures, but of Pepe is what they call it, and there's been a number of people who have seen that over the years. I don't know if you ever heard of Pepe.
When I was researching my book Legend Tripping, it's not just about Bigfoot.
No.
I delve into other, like river and lake creatures, and there's quite a bit of stories out there around the United States about Lake Tahoe. There's one in Georgia, and just recently a gentleman came on, put a video of something that up in North Carolina, and it's really a wild video. That what it is, I have no idea what it is that he got a video of. I mean, at first I thought it was an alligator, but then you see the body moving, and it almost looks like an eel's body. I was like, holy cow, what is that?
Right.
So, I mean, I grew up, with the legend of Loch Ness, got to go there one time as a kid. So, that was one of the cryptids that got me interested in it, was the Loch Ness Monster. Lake Champlain, they still have activity up there in New York and Vermont area of this Ogopogo up in Canada. They are seen, rarely, but they are seen, and I think it's really neat. I'd love to get more into investigating what I call river or lake monsters.
No,
because I mean, there's definitely something to it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember Loch Ness. Does that eventually channel into the North Sea, or is it all self-contained? I forget.
It has a couple rivers, small rivers that go into Loch Ness.
Yeah.
There was a movie, Loch Ness, with Ted Danson and all that stuff. And there was another movie about it where, for some reason, they made it look like there was a fence that stopped going right into the North Sea, which no, it does not. No. It's a pretty contained lake. It's huge.
Right.
I mean, that is a doggone big ass lake.
Yeah.
In fact, I had, as a kid, I thought, for some reason, I thought it was smaller. When I got out there, I said, holy cow, this thing is huge.
It's massive.
It really is a big.
I've been out there, but I've been in Oban, Scotland. And so, it is pretty big. And that's kind of what I'm kind of getting at a little bit. Like when I think about like Lake Pepin, it is massive as well. It's absolutely massive, but you got to think, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to imagine something in there when there is a defined space that can be in. You think about something like a Bigfoot that, it's not bound by anything really. It can go anywhere, but something like Pepe or the Loch Ness Monster, from what I understand, it needs water. So it's like, well, after all these years, you think there'd be, more sightings of it, or did it die? And because nothing lasts forever anyway, maybe it died, and maybe that's why you don't see anything anymore.
It's possible. A lot of times, they are seen, but in order to have a sighting, you got to have somebody out there to see it.
Yep.
So I mean, not like we have Lake Monroe here in Florida, which we have Pinky, this, the lake monster. It goes up the oh God, I forgot. I just drew a blank on the name of the river that goes up to it. But I had no idea how big Lake Monroe was, because I always, when I went looking, I always looked at it from the river aspect. And when I went over to a cigar place, and then I was sitting in there, and I said, "What's that lake out there? This gigantic lake." He goes, "Oh, it's Lake Monroe." I went, "Holy cow, that's a really huge lake." And I said, "Oh yeah, you're just seeing a little bit of it, dude. It goes way over there." So I brought up about the lake monster. He goes, "Oh yeah, I hadn't been seen in a while, but yeah, there's a lake monster out there." I mean, even the guy at the cigar place knew about this cryptid. So I mean, Lake Tahoe's supposed to have and again, who knows that this animal has made it? I mean, I know now there's been more Loch Ness sightings than there's ever been. And, I think, they've got cameras all over that place.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But they have, they are getting some activity out there. I mean, and it's, there's speculation that we're dealing with a really large eel as far as what the Loch Ness Monster might be. And I had no idea eels could get that big. And I was doing, they found one in, I think it was Thailand. And this sucker was huge. I said, I can see what people would say about eels being a sea serpent. How big that, the one they found in Thailand. So, we have gar down here that get pretty darn big, but most people know what a gar looks like. So, it is possible, that there is something out there to these things. People see them, and I mean, those people nowadays know what, normal creatures look like. Alligators, eels, sturgeons,
Yeah.
And a sturgeon, I mean, that's a pretty impressive looking fish. But, you ever see a sturgeon, you'll always know what they look like. You'll never say, oh, I saw something. I think it was a Loch Ness Monster. It looked like a surgeon, but it was a surgeon, So
I'm gonna throw a little different direction on you here, curveball. Mothman. I mean, Mothman.
Yes.
I mean, I just love everything about that, and I mean the fact that people see that is pretty incredible.
It hasn't been seen in a while, but I mean, there's been sightings of Mothman type creatures seen in other areas too. I mean, there's been seen. I mean, there was one seen over in England called the Kent creature, and if you look at the description, you're saying, "Oh my God, that looks like a Mothman." So, again, I don't know what it is. I'd love to know. I do research on these things. I've been to the Mothman Festival a number of times. I had the privilege of speaking there, and people know what owls look like. Bottom line,
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, you mistook it for an owl. People know what owls look like. Well, that they saw was something that was not an owl.
I guess
the Mothman is a very. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I guess I'm a softie though, Robert. I think to myself, I hope there's more than one Mothman, because it's a very lonely existence for this entity. And I mean nothing more than just like the fact that it doesn't feel like it can interact with anybody, and it just lives his life either scared, or is it something that is, I mean, it doesn't look like something that gets intimidated though, I guess, when you really look at it.
Seth Breedlove did an awesome video about the Mothman, and I encourage people out there, if they ever really want to see or really see about the sightings of this, go check out his video. I think it's on Amazon, but Seth and his crew do outstanding research whenever they put their little documentaries together. And one of the best ones I've seen is the Mothman, in my opinion. And he's continually out. He just put one out about the Jersey Devil, and I haven't watched it yet. I just sent me the video DVD. I'm gonna sit down and watch it. Like my wife, who's not a really big believer, but she loves Seth's videos. So
I'm gonna have you have to check that out. Yes. Who is that again? Who is that again, Robert?
Seth Breedlove.
Okay.
If you go on Amazon and type his name in, he's got a number of documentaries out there, and very well made videos. He does his homework before he puts them together. I mean, he's done them on the Dogman legend up in Wisconsin, and he's done some Bigfoot videos. I met him first met him when he was getting started out down in Falk, Arkansas, when he was doing about the Falk monster, and I've been friends with him ever since. And but he's very busy now. I mean, he's got a lot of things going on, and because he's putting out quality documentaries, so he's definitely made a name for himself.
That sounds good. Why don't we do this? Let's take our last break. When we come back, we're going to continue and finish our conversation with Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hello, this is Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Now my show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11 and replayed on Sundays from 1 to 2. You will get to the best of Ellie 2.0 with talking about idealism, with guests who come in and who are idealistic, who are trying to change the world, and you will get me, Super Idealist. Tune in. We can't wait to hear from you, and you'll hear from me Saturdays from 10 to 11.
It's an absolute must for any true foodie. Vinaigrette at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis offers premium oils and vinegars for the most discriminating of tastes. This is Sarah Piepenberg, owner of Vinaigrette. We bottle on site, there's no guesswork, and you get to taste test each and every oil and vinegar we offer. Our direct relationship with the growers ensures an uncompromised level of satisfaction. When you need to know you're cooking with the finest ingredients, first contact the independently owned Vinaigrette, 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Online at vinaigrettemn.com.
Thanks to everyone who supported AM 950 for the last 3 years. Good news, the AM 950 2023 calendar is ready to go, featuring photos I took around Minnesota and important progressive dates. If you sign up to become a member with a one-time $50 membership or recurring monthly membership of $10, you'll receive a 2023 AM 950 calendar as a thank you gift. Go to am950radio.com to become a member and receive a calendar. That's am950radio.com. Thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, Alex of Better Futures Minnesota. Does your business or organization need janitorial services, lawn care, or snow services? Obtain a free, no-obligation estimate from Better Futures Minnesota when you mention that you heard about us on AM 950. Our supervised, hardworking, and affordable crews will handle your interior and exterior building and property maintenance needs while you help men in your community transform their lives and walk on a positive path to success. It's a win-win. To learn more, go to betterfuturesminnesota.com under Business Services.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526. 612-919-5526 or autotech.org.
And join us next week on Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken as we talk about one of the most interesting places in the Twin Cities. We're going to talk about the Rogue Buddha Gallery in Northeast Minneapolis with its owner, Nicholas Harper. It's a beautiful art gallery with magical art created by its big-hearted artist and owner, Nicholas. Plus, well, the place is haunted. Of course it is. We're going to talk more about this fantastic location next week, and it is really cool. It's, like I said, over in Northeast Minneapolis, below where the P&A Hall is, which is also haunted, along with the Northeast Social. So definitely check it out. For our final segment, we return today to our guest, Bigfoot researcher and author Robert Robinson, who wrote 2 books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, Adventure Outside the Box, that you can find on Amazon.com. You can also find them in my house. I have read both of them. And, Robert, are you working on anything else at the moment?
I am going to attempt, again, to do a book on the Florida's Bigfoot.
Oh,
the swamp ape, the skunk ape. I'm gonna veer and just start calling it the swamp ape because it's not always, this animal isn't always stinky when it's seen,
Right. So that will be cool because these first 2 books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, you're covering a lot of, it's like a catalog, if you will, right? Of all these different cryptids. Yeah.
Well, I got into it. The whole aspect is that a lot of people keep asking me questions on how to do things and and then I've been out with people who have gone out there who weren't prepared, for things. And I said, I really got to put it on paper how, if you're going to go do this, what you need to do, where you need to go, and, certain things like that. And, know that, not every part of the woods has a Bigfoot in it. You need to you do research and find out where these things are being seen. And that's where you need to go, do your research at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? You want to make sure you get people, and it's kind of like what we do with our paranormal class. You just want to set people up for success, and also so they don't hurt themselves as well, because that could happen very easily, especially out in the woods.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I go out, I always have my bag with me in case I get stuck out there overnight. I have all the, everything I need to be able to camp out the night. I don't have to worry about, freezing to death or anything like that. And so I try to stress to people, because I've had people just, go out there with a camera and a flashlight and then get lost out there, and, they don't have any equipment to take care of themselves for the night, so, and then again, I like camping too. I like going out there. I like taking, my grandkids are getting at the age where I can take them out with me too. But I do like to try to find areas where there has been some activity, because it makes it a little bit more than just a camping trip. It turns it into like well, my grandson called it kind of a Goonies adventure, when you go out there.
And that's the funny thing about it too. It's like, I think that if you want to really do any sort of Bigfoot research, get out into the field and do it, you have to like being outside. I know that sounds silly to say, but it's true though, right? I mean, it's not like, oh, I just want to kind of, go into a little bit of the woods and see if I can get something. You really have to want to, you want to be able to enjoy the whole experience, I would think.
Well, you can't just walk off, go back off the road a couple of feet and hope, something's going to happen. These animals, for the most part, are very human. So you're going to have to get back out there, in there. And, I go out with some investigators, Bigfoot Mafia, Florida Mafia, and we go camping. And, sometimes we'll sit there and just see if something comes probing the camp at night, And, like you said, camping is actually fun. I had a gentleman approach me at a conference saying, this was years and years ago. He said, I want to take my son out camping and fishing and stuff, but, he wants to stay home and play video games and stuff. I said, well, do this. Tell your son you could take him out on a Bigfoot hunt.
Yeah.
And during the day, you guys go fishing, and at night, And I said, but, you're going to have to take him walking around, with the light and stuff, and really, because, he's going to figure you out real quick that, you're just tricking him to coming out there. You're really going to have to go look out, or go do some Bigfoot hunting with him. And later on, he wrote me and said, hey, thanks for the advice. It worked. Me and my son go out, a little bit more than, and he likes the whole aspect of, looking for Bigfoot and stuff when we're out there. So it worked, I mean, and he's now gotten into the whole camping thing with me. So, we're having a great time now.
Now, we have just under 2 minutes left before we wrap up the show. One of the things that I briefly would love to talk about, I've always loved people who have, and we talked about this at Ghost Stories and Beyond, people that have recordings of what we believe are Sasquatch, Bigfoot communicating either with each other or just making sounds while you're out there, and you could just hear it in like the forest and stuff. And I just feel like that is such a real, to me, that's a very tangible aspect of their existence, I guess.
There are some,
I can tell you do not agree.
Later on. Well, I do agree. Like there's one called the Sierra Sound.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go on YouTube and type that in. And I believe that these two gentlemen out there really recorded a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it. Because these animals whistle.
Yeah.
They do give off a whistle, and that rules out a bear or a deer or anything, because those animals can't whistle.
No.
So again, I tell people listening, if you really want to hear some what I call credible Bigfoot sounds, it's called the Sierra Sounds.
Okay.
And again, you can go on YouTube and listen to it, and it's really, really, really extraordinary listening to this sound that this animal's making.
Robert Robinson is a fantastic Bigfoot researcher and author. He has written 2 successful books, Legend Tripping, The Ultimate Adventure, and International Legend Tripping, Adventure Outside the Box. You can pick up his book on Amazon.com. I do highly recommend that you do so. Robert, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I had a great time.
Always great to have you on. This has been Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken on AM 950. Thank you all for joining me, and join us next week as we talk with Nicholas Harper with Rogue Buddha Gallery. Take care, everybody.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. For the last 2 years, AM 950 has been so grateful with all the members who've signed up to support the radio station. And as a thank you, we've sent out the